I remember how to do this. Never has it worked for you? There we go. All right. Now let's see if it works for us. Oh my gosh, it does. Okay. Ha. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So here we are, and let's tonight with a little nigun, a little wordless melody, and then we'll turn to lighting our Shabbat candles as we end one week and prepare to begin the next. There's something really beautiful about Shabbat where we don't have to pick what week we're in yet, right? Like, it's almost like this little 25-hour oasis in time sits in between. We don't immediately have to transition from one thing into the next. Like in our world, we have to do that a lot. Racing from thing to thing to thing. I don't know if that's just me with young kids or if that's everybody. I think that's everybody. But Shabbat reminds us that we don't always have to, that we can finish a thing and then just be and not have to immediately pick up the next thing, answer the next email, go into the next appointment, plan the next program or the next lesson or whatever it is. And so let's enter into it with some song. Yadadandai, 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 dandai, yadadai, yadadandai, dandai, yadadai, yadadandai, dandai, yadai, 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 yadadai, yadadandai, 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 dandai, yadadai, yadadandai, dandai, yadadai, yadadandai, dandai, dandai, yadai, yadai, yadadai, yadai, 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 yadadai, yai dai yan nai 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 yai nai 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 yai dai yan nai 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 yan nai yan nai nai yai dai yan nai 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 yai nai 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 yada dan nai yada dan nai yada dan nai nan nai yada nai yada dan nai yan nai yada nai yada dan nai nan nai yan nai 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 yai nai 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 yai dai yan nai nan nai yai nai yan nai nai yai na yan nai 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 yai na yan nai nai yai na yai nai 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 yai na yan nai nai yai na yai 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 na yan nai yai. When we light our Shabbat candles, we bring in that light, that warmth. Wait. We help them to light a little bit. There we go. And then we bring in their light once it's a little stable. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של השבת. Yadadandai nai nai, yadadandai nai nai, yadadandai nai 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 nai, yadadandai nai nai, yadadandai nai nai, yadadandai nai nai, yadadandai hai nai nai nai, yadadandai nai nai, yadadandai nai nai, yadadandai nai nai, yadadandai nai nai nai, yadadandai nai nai, yadadandai nai nai, yadadandai nai nai, yadadandai nai 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 nai. Page 7. Yedid nefesh avarachaman mishoch avdecha el ritzonecha yarut avdecha kemo ayal yishtachaveh el mul hadarecha terablo yedidutecha mino petzuf bechol tamai yararanai nai nai yararanai nai nai yararanai nai 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 yararanai nai nai yararanai nai nai yararanai nai nai yararanai nai 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 yararanai nai nai yararanai nai nai yararanai nai nai yararanai nai 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 yararanai nai nai yararanai yararanai nai nai yararanai nai 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 nai. Last verse. Higalena haofros chavivi alai atzukat shalom lecha ta'ir eretz michvodecha nagila v'nismecha bach Ma'er ahuv kiva moed bechonenu ki me'olam ay yararanai nai nai yararanai nai nai yararanai nai 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 yararanai nai nai yararanai nai nai yararanai nai nai yararanai nai 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 yararanai nai nai yararanai yararanai nai nai yararanai nai 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 yararanai nai nai yararanai yararanai nai nai yararanai nai nai nai. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to turn to page 25 to Psalm 96, Shiru Ladonai Shir Hadash. Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz. Sing unto God a new song. Then sing unto God the entire earth. This past Sunday, we celebrated Tu B'Shvat. And not sure if it's a La Nina sort of weather pattern or some global warming or something like that, but usually Tu B'Shvat is meant to like line up with where the spring sort of begins to tip, like in the Middle East, in like places with like a Mediterranean climate, and not say on the east coast of the United States. But this past Tu B'Shvat on Sunday night, Monday, actually it was Monday morning, I saw my first crocuses. And there was something really special about noticing a crocus coming up. And I know, you guys have like known for 5 days if you follow me on Facebook. Sorry. Yeah, Sharon is like, old news. You already shared that on Monday. Yeah, sorry, Sharon. But there's something really special when the calendars align like that, when Tu B'Shvat, even if it hopefully snows later this month or something like that, I want like one good snowstorm. Like we live in Philadelphia because we want one good snowstorm, at least, but really one. But yeah, when the calendar and the holidays become real and not just dates on a chart of weeks. And so I wanted to offer that as a kavanah, an intention for this psalm, especially the second line, like Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz, sing unto God all of the earth when the flowers bloom on Tu B'Shvat. Like what are those moments that we pause long enough to notice the way that the rhythms of our planet sing out and connect up with the rest of us, with other species, right? Like when we feel like we're a part of not just the human rat race, but this global interconnected web. So, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Hadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basaru Mihom Le'yom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruch Hu Shemo, Basaru Mihom Le'yom Yeshuato. Baseru miyom leyom Yeshua Tov. We rise in spirit or in body on page 37 for Psalm 29. Mizmor LeDavid, Havu Ladonai b'nei Elim, Havu Ladonai, kavod va'od, Havu Ladonai, kevod shemo, Ishtachav Ladonai, v'hadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim Adonai al mayim rabim Kol Adonai bakoach Kol Adonai behadar Kol Adonai shofer harazim Vaishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon Vayarkidem kimo egel Lebanon Vesirion Kemo vein re'emim ay Kol Adonai chotev lahavotesh Kol Adonai achil midbar Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh Kol Adonai yechol elai avot Vayecheso ye'avot Uvechalo Kulo omer kavod ay Adonai lama bu yashav yishev Adonai melech leolam Adonai ohoz le'amo yiten Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom Yai nanai Yai nanai Yai nanai Yai. We can be seated. So we turn to page 41 for Lechado D, and we're going to sing the verses of Lechado D at the tops of each page until we get to page 47, when we'll sing both. Lechado D, as we greet Shabbat like we greet a beloved. Lechado di likrat kala yananai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela Lechado di likrat kala yananai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela Shamor vezachor bedibur echad Ishmihanu el hameyuchad ay Adonai echad ushemu echad L'shemu tiferet v'heli techila Lechado di likrat kala yananai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela Lechado di likrat kala yananai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'neelcha Ki mekor ha-beracha ay merosh mikedem nesucha Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila Lechado di likrat kala yananai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela Lechado di likrat kala yananai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela hitoreri Kiva orech kumi uri ay uri shir daberi kevod Adonai alayich mikla Lechado di likrat kala yananai 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela Lechado di likrat kala yananai 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 pnei Shabbat Nekabela, page 47, Yamin Usmol, Tifrotzi, Viet Adonai, Ta'aritzi, Al Yadish, Ben Parti, Ben Ismecha, Ben Nagila, Hey, Lechadodi, Likakala, Yananai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela, Lechadodi, Likakala, Yananai, 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 Pnei Shabbat, Nekabela, and we rise as we greet Shabbat. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam besimcha uvetzocholai, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala, hey, lecha dodi likrat kala, yananai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabela, lecha dodi likrat kala, yananai, 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 pnei Shabbat, nekabela. We can be seated in Shabbat Shalom. So, this week we read in the Torah Parshat Yitro. Yitro is a heck of a Torah portion because it contains, of course, the moment at which we receive the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai. It's a biggie. A lot of people are likely going to, and I'm happy that I have several people here who I know are definitely tried and true Eagles fans. Many people likely across Philadelphia are speaking about the same verse in the Torah portion, how God brought us out of Egypt on eagle's wings. Yeah, it's that Torah portion, right? And I want to shout out to Jules Mermelstein, who also noted that in this week's Torah portion, Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, says this burden of judging all of the people's, deeds and cases is too great for you. You need to appoint chiefs over small groupings of the people, chiefs over the tens, the 50s, the hundreds, the thousands, right? Sets up a legal system of chiefs. So it's a good parsha for the Super Bowl. But since we are talking about, or I started talking about at the beginning of this service, noticing moments to take a pause between things, not having to run to start the next thing just as soon as we finish the last, and noticing when non-human beings on this planet are singing songs and syncing up with the chorus that is the entire earth. There's also an interesting noticing perspective that I want to offer as we step into this week's Torah portion that has nothing to do with the Super Bowl. Sorry, Steve. Sorry, Sharon. Especially Sharon, you're maybe the biggest sports fan. Yeah, there's going to be a rumble here tonight for who's the biggest sports fan of all. Yeah. But at the foot of Mount Sinai, as Moses is about to go up on behalf of the people to receive the 10 Commandments, or at the moment before we hear these 10 utterances from above, from the top of the mountain that is like smoking and steaming, the text says that we see the thunder and hear the lightning. Not hear the thunder and see the lightning, but see the thunder and hear the lightning. There is such a sensory experience going on that like our senses are switched and overwhelmed. There is, I don't know if like the people is all like stimming at the bottom of the mountain. Like there is a sensory overload here. And so I want to give us this image as we move into Shabbat of embracing moments of overwhelm as potentially holy, because we have this model for one of our holiest moments of all, that moment where we transition from being a ragtag group of formerly enslaved people in Egypt into a people, into B'nai Yisrael, into the children of Israel, into proto-Jews, right? A people with an identity and a shared social contract in these 10 commandments. And it's this moment of complete overwhelm, such that we're not even able to sort out sense-wise what's going on when. And we often think about moments like that as the least and the least holy and the farthest from holy that we could possibly imagine, right? When we seek out holy moments, or when we think about holy moments, we think about them as like, I was sitting peacefully on the shores of a lake, and I could even just hear the sound of my own heart beating, and I could just feel connected to everything around me, right? There are almost always moments of calm. But in this week's Torah portion, we have this example that calmness isn't the only place that we can experience holiness. That in the midst of the most overwhelming possible situation, we emerge like lifted up and enlightened by the fact that we have heard a divine voice. And so I want to invite us to carry that through our week as well, as we're sort of taking this noticing perspective this Shabbat, in moments where we feel overwhelmed, in moments where we feel like we are on sense overload, like we just need to put in a pair of earplugs because it's all just too much, or go into a dark room because it's just too much, or turn everything down, or put on a weighted blanket, or whatever we do for whatever sensory overload we find ourselves in. And for some of us, maybe it's more of a common experience than others, but I'm sure that everyone has had that one time or another, and maybe even once a week or more. How can we, in the midst of being overwhelmed, find the holiness, find the connection, find the voice of something beautiful or divine or identity shaping, even in that kind of a moment? So, Shabbat Shalom. So we're going to turn to page 57 and rise in spirit or in body for Baruch Hu. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. And the blessing gives us strength and makes our vision clear. And the blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Adonai. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. We can be seated. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Asher Bidvaro Ma'ariv Aravim B'chokhmah, Poteach Sharim U'ivuna Mishanei Eitim, Malif et hazmanim u'mesader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem b'rakia kirtzono. Umavir yom u'mevi laila, umavdil ben yom u'ben laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, Elachai v'kayam, Tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch ata Adonai, Ha'ma'ariv Aravim, page Page 63. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha avta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shochveinu Uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha B'mitzvotecha leolam va'ed Ki yehem chayenu Be'orech yameinu U'bahem nege yomam v'layla Ve'ahavatecha lo tasur Mimenu leolamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisrael Ohev amo Yisrael. Page 65, the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol meotecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta baham Beshivtecha beveitecha uvelechtecha vaderech uveshochbecha uvekumecha ukashartam leot al yatecha vehayu letotafot bein einecha uchetavtam al mezuzahot beitecha uvisharecha. We continue silently with one of the two biblical selections that follows. V'haya im shemoah tishma'u al mitzvotai Hashem. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Turn together to page 79. Actually, we'll read 78 below the line. Is there a volunteer to read out loud page 78 below the line? You can. Oh, wait, hold on. But you don't have an unmute button. But you will. Where'd it go?
Let's try this unmute button.
Oh, that sounds like it works.
When our ancestors beheld these truths, they proclaimed, among all the gods we can name, who can compare to the one beyond naming? Among all the quantities we can label, number, mark, and measure, which compares to the mystery at the heart of reality.
Page 79. Mi chamocha b'halim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osefele, Nora tehilot osefele, Ma'alechutecha ra'u vanecha, Bokei hayam lifnei Moshe, Zeli anu ve'ameru, Zeli anu ve'ameru, Adonai himloch leolam va'ed, Adonai himloch leolam va'ed. Ay ay na 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 ay na na bay bim bam. Ay ay na 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 ay na na bay bim bam. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Page 81. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Sukkot Shalomecha Ushmor Tzeitenu Huenu L'chaim U'L'Shalom Me'ata ve'ad olam Ufroz Aleinu Sukkot Shalomecha Baruch Ata Adonai Haporei Sukkot Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei Tevel ve'al Yerushalayim. We'll rise in spirit or in body on page 85 for Vishamru. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We turn together to page 91 as we face the east, whichever direction that is for you, but for us it's that away. And we'll start our Amidah together with Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, and then go silent for the Amidah, which you recite silently in the evenings, giving space for the traditional words of prayer, but also for the prayers of our hearts. Adonai Sfatai Tiftach Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Open my lips, beloved one, and let my mouth declare your praise. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'ase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ya'ase shalom, ya'ase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imeru, Amen. Shabbat shalom. So we take a moment, the end of our silent Amidah, to kind of switch modalities from silent to very much loud and announcing as we turn to our Mishaberach L'Cholim, our prayer for healing and wholeness, where we share publicly the names of those whom we're thinking of who are in need of healing, healing of body, healing of spirit. And I want to mention, of course, this week, as we turn to our Mishaberach, that we are thinking especially of all of those in southern Turkey and northern Syria who have lost loved ones, who are injured, who are without homes and belongings and all of the things that we so often take for granted because of the horrific earthquake. My wife, Rebecca, who works for a refugee agency, reminded me that the border between northern Syria and southern Turkey is actually one of the places in the world that has seen the most migration of refugees, and that Turkey is actually the largest resettler of refugees from Syria in the world, and especially over that northern border into southern Turkey is where a huge number of Syrian refugees fleeing violence because of the civil war there have resettled. And so this 1-2 punch of leaving their homes, fleeing for their lives, trying to get resettled, trying to get back on their feet, coming to a new country, learning a new culture, and then an earthquake. And so just holding in our hearts as we say the Mishaberach this week, those two countries and those thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are reeling from this huge disaster. So I want to invite you either in the chat or out loud or some other way, smoke signal, semaphore. No, but seriously, if you're on YouTube especially, please do use the chat. If you're on Zoom, unmute yourself. If you're here, just naturally unmute yourself as we share names of those whom we're thinking of for healing. This week we're sending our hopes and our energy for healing and wholeness to Andrea Abrams-Herbert, James Alberts, Fran Anderson, Roberta Archibald, Joan Axelroth, Ellen Azriel, Arden Berry and Carol Mueller-Bell, Rabbi Deborah Bowen, Seal Haight, Robin Kupo, Frankie Deaver, Marcy Fish, Joan Flaherty, Rhoda Gansler, Charles Gardner, Joaquin Gabel, Eric Gershman, Jonathan Giannini, Marilyn Goldberg, Cordula Hamish, Marty Jacobs, Sharon Cass, Beverly and Howard Kaufman, Fran Kaufman, Susan Moyer, Robert Mueller, Anthony Nero, Lisa Nicholson, Stan Pollock, Joel Popkin, Mike Rosenberg, Shelley Sanders, Marlene Sortino, Howard Temple, Lynn Van Engel, Brandy Wazliewski, Stan Weckstein, Billy Weissman, Grace Zangwell, Eileen Zeff, and
Eric Griffin Shelley, and I do want to put a special prayer in for, I have a friend who just had a child, and they knew that she was going to be quite sick. And they've done multiple operations and things to do their best, but he just told me today that it doesn't look like it's going to work well because she's had convulsions now and brain damage. So his family is coming, and you know, at some point she'll come off the respirator. But I was just, it was interesting when you talked about kind of getting through something that is difficult, but also rather spiritual. And it really, it hit home that we can't do this alone, and we need each other. And being able to kind of like stay in touch with him and just, you know, be there as he's going through this part of his life, my friend, and remind him about every single day being just so precious.
Yeah. That
we do have. And it you know, it's you know, I wish baby Leia every single day of her life a good day.
Thanks, Rich.
Well,
and we're also thinking of Rob Johnson and John Fetterman, Aaliyah Nero, Mira Appleby, Dan Appleby, Moti Carniel, Doug Kane, the people of Ukraine, the people of Turkey and Syria recovering from the earthquake, victims of gun violence and trauma in all of its forms, victims of climate change throughout the world. Herman Freeman.
Joe Snagaki, Bob Austin, Hugh Pollack, and Ralph Hyman.
Thanks. Isheberach avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And we'll turn from our prayer for healing to our blessing of joy, where we lift up our glass filled with sweetness and add even more as we prepare for Kiddush on page 119. And we have kind of evolved this tradition of using Kiddush as a moment for people to announce anything that they're celebrating, either from the past week or in this moment, so that we can continue to fill this glass with our own sweetness. Sharon is quick on the draw. Sharon is filling this glass with sweetness, planning for her birthday weekend. Happy birthday! As you march ever nearer towards your mid-20s, old lady that you are now. Awesome, planning for her birthday weekend. And what else are we celebrating this Shabbat?
It's Shabbat.
You, what? Did someone say something? Okay, well, I am, let's see. Oh, I am celebrating Eitan learning how to sing. He is 19 months old, and he just crossed this weird milestone that I don't even think I noticed existed with Bina. But he went from asking, like, from talking about the song Baba Black Sheep by saying Baba, Baba, to going Baba, 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 Baba. And it was just like a one-day turn. Yeah, like, no, but he actually, like, you can tell. No, but so he just, all of a sudden, his brain figured out how to sing. So that's some sweetness that I'm sharing. Anybody else? Birthdays, anniversaries, book publications, fun, exciting things?
How about the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl?
Well, let's fill it up with our division champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. I'll raise a glass to that. And we'll rise in spirit or in body for Kiddush on page 119. Savrei Chaverai.
L'chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki elenu karata ve'otanu kidashta la'avodatecha ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat l'chaim. And we'll turn the page to page 121 and stay just like this for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol la'tet gedula le'otzer breshit shenatan lanu Torah shemet v'chayolam nata betochenu v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ ומושביך. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו echad. We can be seated. As we turn to page 131 for Mourner's Kaddish, we turn in our hearts and our memories to those whom we've loved and lost at this season in years past and in recent weeks. We are in a period of Shloshim, the month following the passing of Melvin Medalis, who also went by Mickey, especially among his family, cousin of Laura Medalis and Dave Levinson, and a former teacher here at Or Hadash. And we mark the Yortzites, the anniversaries of the passing this week of Edwin Wolfe, father of Susanna Wolfe, Beatrice Stewerman, mother of Manny Stewerman, Nathan Franco, father of Meryl Stern, Sarah Kurtz, mother of Rhoda Gansler, Martha Alessio, mother of Marianne Alessio Adler, Gary Golden, cousin of Meryl Stern, Arnold Jarvis, father of Jeff Jarvis, Joan Hiller, sister of Amy Mendelson, Nina Nemiroff, sister of Steve Lieberstein, and Chaim Schwartz, uncle of Dan Schwartz. And if there are others that you're thinking of this week or whose Yortzeit you're marking, who aren't on our list, or for whom you're still in a period of mourning. I want to invite you to share their names. So Sharon is saying Kaddish for her. Thanks, Dan. For her grandpa, who passed earlier this year, and for Batman.
Elsie Lieberstein.
I want to invite mourners and those observing a yort site to rise in spirit or in body for mourners Kaddish, along with those whose tradition it is to rise for Kaddish. Yitgadal Yitadash Shemei Rabbah. Be'alma Divrach Yiritei V'yamlich Malchutei V'chayechon V'yomechon V'chayei Kol Beit Yisrael Ba'adala U'bizman Kariv V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach Le'alam U'lalmei Almaya Yitbarach Yitshbach V'ar V'yitchomam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yitaleh V'yithalam V'yitudisha La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbam Shemaya V'chayim Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Osei Shalom Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'al Kol Yosef V'yimru Amen. May their memories be a blessing for all of us. A few messages and announcements. First of all, tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., Torah study, 8:45 bagels. Please, if you are coming on site, we want to try to start at 9 o'clock, so do come 8:45 for bagels. 9 a.m. Torah study, and it's going to be one not to be missed because I'm not leading it. No, we are welcoming Rebecca Kersner, who I am not only married to, but who is also the National Director for Grassroots and Campaigns for HIAS, to lead us in Torah study for Refugee Shabbat. And so please do come. We will be in the boardroom and online on Zoom. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be, we'll be co-leading. We'll be connecting our Torah portion to our contemporary refugee crisis. And I think that it's going to be a really powerful and wonderful opportunity for Torah study as a community. I want to thank everyone who reached out to me with suggestions for babysitting, because if both of us are in the boardroom at Torah study, who is with the 19-month-old? And thank you to those who brought suggestions for how we can, be in two places with one tuchus, as it were. So that's tomorrow morning, and then the service is at 10 a.m., led by myself, our whole community, and Joe Adler on guitar. Next week, Friday night, is Shabbat Chavarah. Please let Elisa Elisa Belzer know by Wednesday whether or not you are coming, so that we have a head count for food for dinner. There is no RSVP necessary for the service, and for those who don't know, Shabbat Chavarah, right? Long dinner, short service, deep community. There's a discussion afterwards, with everything kicking off at 6:30 with a little happy hour. Bring a drink and or a snack, like an appetizer to share. Dinner at like 6:45, 6:50, and candle lighting, and a short service at 7:30, and by 8 o'clock it will be we'll be deep in our discussion, which is led by Elisa or another member of the community. So please be in touch with Elisa by Wednesday. Friday, February 24th at 7 p.m. Note, 7 p.m., not 7:30. It is J Dame Shabbat. February is Jewish Disabilities Awareness, Advocacy, and Inclusion Month. And we are thrilled to be welcoming Rabbi Elliot Kukla, who will be joining us and speaking on the topic of the Torah of disability access. He will take us through the writing of contemporary disabled activists like Mia Mingus, Alice Wong, and Leah Lakshmi Piapetsna Samarsina on the topic of disability access, using this lens to uncover a new Jewish spirituality of accessibility and survival for this era of tumult and change where no one is left behind. So please join us. That's Friday, February 24th at 7 p.m. A few other messages and announcements. Also that same weekend is our annual membership brunch, which, because of the pandemic, has not been happening annually, right, for the last few years. The last one we had was, of course, in the fall of 2019. So we are going to not only be celebrating together with, mimosas and bagels and schmear and good community, but we are also going to be celebrating our new members from 2020, 2021, and 2022. So please do come. And if that wasn't a good enough reason to come, at the membership brunch, Betty Kahn is going to be doing a poetry reading from her new book of poetry, which was just published in December. And we are thrilled that Betty will be offering a poetry reading at the membership brunch. So please do come. She'll be signing copies of her book. She'll be reading her poetry. We're connecting new members and those who've been around for a while, but in some ways we're kind of all new members because we're kind of like new again in whatever place it is that we are these days. And so that is Sunday, February 26th from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Questions, contact Amy Gwartzman. The event is being co-chaired by Amy and by Ann Davis. A few other events. Mahjong is continuing to meet bi-weekly, Thursday mornings at 10:30 a.m. and Tuesday evenings at 7:30 p.m. There is a flyer online and photocopied that has all of the dates. I'm not going to read them all. And then, of course, please, we are coming up on our deadline in just a couple of weeks for RSVPs for our trip on March 26th to the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. We are subsidizing the trip such that the only cost is obviously for lunch in D.C. and $30, which is part of the cost of the bus. We're going to be taking the bus down to a chartered bus down to Washington, D.C. for a trip to the museum. It's open to adults and children 6th grade and above, under 16 accompanied by an adult. And in addition to the trip, the Anti-Racism Task Force is presenting an immersive educational experience both leading up to and following with sessions on Zoom. The first one has already happened on the historical foundations of race, but also on race and racial identity, social identities and systems of oppression, whiteness, bias, and being an anti-racist. Please do join us either for the trip, the sessions, or both. And for the trip, we need to have RSVPs by March 12th into the office. And then I believe, finally, save the date for our Scholar in Residence weekend. I know it's like a million years from now, but it's actually going to come up sooner than you think. April 28th to 30th, we're welcoming Rabbi Fred Sherlinder Dobb, chair of Reconstructing Judaism's Coalition on the Environment and Jewish Life, who will be talking about the intersection of Judaism and climate justice. It'll be a really wonderful and fabulous weekend with Rabbi Fred. I suppose there is one more announcement. Last night at the Spiritual Life meeting, we officially kicked off recruitment for this year's Seder matching. I know, Passover, it's not even Purim, but it is the time to start thinking about, if you host a Passover Seder, do you have an extra seat or two that you would love to open up to other members of the Or Hadash community? Please be in touch with Cheryl Burson. We are looking right now for Seder hosts with how many people you think that you could have at your Seder, whether it's kid-friendly or not, whether your house is accessible to those with wheelchairs or not, Are you an early Seder, a late Seder, first night, second night? But yeah, recruitment is open for Seder matching 5783. So please do let Cheryl Burson know. For all other announcements, because I'm going to stop talking, see Hakesher, our newsletter. And if you don't get Hakesher, let Nadine in the office know, office@orhadash.com, or sign up on the website. I'm getting an applause for announcements. Thank you, Sharon. I'll take it. We are going to close with Adon Olam to a very special tune, if I can pull it out. Page 133. Adon Olam, Asher Asher Malach, Beterem Kol, Yitzir Yitzir Nivra, Liet Nasa, Bechev Sokol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Adon Olam, Asher Asher Malach, E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles! Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
That was very impressive.
Anytime. Shabbat Shalom. And so...